I used to have this ritual every other Friday. I'd wake up, grab my phone, check my banking app, and see that beautiful green number, $2,400. Payday. For exactly 6 hours, I felt rich. I felt safe. But then, fast forward to the following Tuesday, just 4 days later, and I'd be staring at the same screen, feeling a knot twist in my stomach. The balance would read $140, and the terrifying part wasn't the low number. It was that I honestly, genuinely had no idea where the other $2,260 went. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here's exactly what happened. That panic, it's paralyzing. I call it the ghost money syndrome. I was working 40 hours a week, stressing over deadlines and trading my life for this paycheck, only to have it evaporate before I could even tell it what to do. It felt like I was carrying water in a bucket full of holes. I wasn't managing my money. I was just temporarily holding it for the grocery store, the gas station, and whatever. Random subscription decided to auto-renew that week. I remember sitting at my kitchen table one Tuesday night, scrolling through my transactions. It wasn't one big emergency that wiped me out. It was a $12 lunch here, a $45 treat-yourself Amazon purchase there, a utility bill I forgot was auto-drafting. It was death by 1,000 cuts. I felt stupid. I'm an adult. I know how to add and subtract. So why did I feel like a passenger in my own financial life? I realized that looking at my bank balance after spending was like trying to drive a car by only looking in the rearview mirror. I was reacting to the damage instead of preventing it. I knew I needed to stop the bleeding. I needed a way to catch the money before it turned into a ghost. That's when I stumbled across this concept called zero-based budgeting. And honestly, the name terrified me. I thought it meant I was going to have zero money left, but I was already feeling broke with money in the bank, so I figured I had nothing to lose. So I opened up a blank spreadsheet. Honestly, my hands were kind of sweating. It felt like I was about to perform surgery on my own wallet. The concept of a zero-based budget is deceptively simple on paper. Income minus expenses equals zero. But in practice, it felt like trying to stuff a sleeping bag back into that tiny sack. It's messy, it's frustrating, and you're constantly worried something is going to rip. I typed in the big number at the top. Income, $2,400. That was my starting line. My goal was to give every single one of those dollars a specific job before they even hit my checking account. If I didn't give them a job, they'd wander off and disappear into the ghost money void again. So I started with the bullies, the bills that would beat me up if I didn't pay them. First came rent, $200. Immediate pain. Half the check, gone. Next, the car payment, $350. Then utilities and phone, $200. I looked at the remaining cell. I was down to $650 left, and I hadn't even bought food yet. This is usually the moment in the month where I'd stick my head in the sand and just swipe my card hoping for the best. But the spreadsheet doesn't lie. The math is brutal and indifferent. I estimated groceries. I looked at my past bank statements, which was painful, and saw I was averaging about $600 a month because I eat out way too much. But I told myself, no, this month is different. So I typed in $400 for groceries. That was a commitment. That wasn't just a number, it was a promise to future me that I would cook pasta instead of ordering Uber Eats. Remaining balance, $250. This is where it got really hard. This is the messy middle of the process. I still had gas for the car, toiletries, and let's be real, fun. I wanted to leave that $250 as miscellaneous or just in case. It felt safer to keep it vague. But the rule of the zero-based budget is that vague is the enemy. If I labeled it miscellaneous, I guaranteed I would spend it on nonsense. So I forced myself to be specific. Gas, $100. Netflix and Spotify, $25. Toiletries, household stuff, $50. I was left with $75. This was the moment of truth. My checking account wasn't at zero, but my plan had to be. I had $75 with no job. The old me would have seen that as free money for Friday night drinks. But the debt-free buddy version of me knew that my credit card balance was sitting there, accruing interest, laughing at me. I took that final $75 and created a line item called extra debt payment. Income 2400 minus expenses 2400 equals zarfa suwasurs. I stared at that zero for a long time. It felt weirdly contradictory. I had just spent all my money on paper, but for the first time in my life, I didn't feel broke. I felt deliberate. I knew exactly where the grocery money stopped and the gas money started. I wasn't praying that my card wouldn't be declined. I was telling my money where to go. Of course, the spreadsheet is the easy part. The hard part was waking up the next day and realizing I actually had to stick to that $400 grocery limit. But seeing the math laid out like that in black and white flipped a switch. I wasn't restricting myself. I was building a roadmap. That zero at the bottom of the spreadsheet changed everything for me. Before this experiment, I thought budgeting was a punishment, a cage I had to lock myself into because I was bad with money. But staring at that $0.00, I realized it was actually a permission slip. By assigning every dollar a job, I wasn't losing my freedom. I was buying it back. I was telling my anxiety to shut up because the math had already been done. The beauty of the zero-based concept fits perfectly into my 1% journey because it removes the vague, I hope I have enough feeling, and replaces it with concrete, tiny decisions. It's an atomic habit applied to my bank account. Instead of one giant, overwhelming goal like save money, I have 20 small, manageable goals. Keep groceries under 400. Keep gas under 100. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, my first month wasn't perfect. Remember that 400 grocery limit? Yeah, I hit 460 as I messed up. I bought the fancy cheese. But because I had the zero-based plan, I knew exactly where that extra $60 had to come from. I had to take it from the extra debt payment category. It hurt to lower that debt payment, but for the first time, I wasn't digging a new hole to fill an old one. I was just moving dirt around. I was still in control. That's the 1% lesson here. The goal isn't to predict the future perfectly. The goal is to stop being surprised by the present. Hitting zero on paper gave me the clarity to see where my life was actually costing me money. And that clarity is the first step out of this mess. My 1% mission for tomorrow is simple. I'm not asking you to build the whole spreadsheet yet. Just pick one category. Maybe it's coffee or takeout. And write down a specific dollar limit for just this week. Give just those dollars a job. What category are you going to control this week? Let me know in the comments. I am not a financial expert or advisor. This content is for documenting my personal journey and for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions.